This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right, you are on Cruise Control. Welcome, everyone. I'm Fred Staub, and the other voice you're about to hear is none other than Les Jackson. Hey, Les Jackson.
Yes. Hey, man. Good morning, and good driving.
Yeah, hopefully good driving. It was hailing out here earlier, so I didn't expect that. Went from a sunny day to just hail.
Well, it's sunny here in D.C., a little chilly, but sunny.
All right.
So,
well, now that we've got the weather out of the way, let's talk about safaris, Les Jackson. And we're going to go on safari. But Jeep is revealing its concepts at the Easter Moab safari. And it's kind of a look into the vision of future Jeeps. We'll talk about some of the models that are out there, and there's a lot of different concepts, so we'll tell you about them. And there's even one that looks a little bit like a Range Rover if you look at it. So,
yeah, it actually does. And again, for the 40th year in a row, I want to thank Jeep for not inviting me to the Moab because I don't want to be there driving on big rocks. Anyway, the New York Auto Show is gearing up with 2 new vehicles from Kia, not to mention a whole lot of other companies.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. And synthetic gas. You and I have been talking about that a lot. Its development is underway by 2 manufacturers, and we will tell you who is developing it and when we might see it. And it might be a lot sooner than what you thought was going to happen.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. And as the Tesla turns,
wow,
we join.
Wait a minute. Say, as the Tesla turns again.
As the Tesla turns. All right. We're just having fun. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, what has happened in the world of Elon Musk?
Well, there's a cyber rodeo. The Model 3 price increases. Gee, what a surprise. And somebody who shall remain Elon Musk is buying Twitter.
Yeah, interesting story. That cyber rodeo, by the way, was the reveal. It featured Elon Musk in a cowboy hat, sunglasses, and we got to see what the Cybertruck next gen looks like.
That's right. And what an utter lack of dignity looks like.
So I believe there was some Elon Musk dancing too, which is...
Yes, I saw the dancing.
It's kind of a scary concept.
And it's... well, clearly he didn't, we don't know what he did with the dance lesson money that his parents gave him as a child.
Yeah. But let's talk about something different. A vehicle, you and I reviewed the same vehicle, or are going to review it, and it is none other than the Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. This is probably one of the most beautiful vehicles I've driven in a long time. That interior is just incredible. You and I are going to do a dual review. We do these from time to time, don't we?
I mean, it's just pure coincidence that we have them at the same time. Mine is a white exterior and a gorgeous saddle, sort of a medium level saddle tan interior. It's just spectacular.
Mine had this beautiful metallic red paint and, of course, a beautiful interior with all kind of stitching, black leather. I think Jeep has just outdone themselves on this, and you are going to roll it down. This, of course, is the Grand Cherokee L, which is about 11.4 inches longer than the traditional Grand Cherokee. Of course, there's a brand new Grand Cherokee 2 as well. And this is the 3-row edition. Just take a look at that interior.
3-row with electric folding seats in the back. And
yeah. The gorgeous
it's just
interior.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the stitching, the quality of the interior, the quality of the wood, the Macintosh audio system. Did yours have a Macintosh audio system?
It does. It has all that.
Hard to believe this is a Jeep, and it's all still very, very capable too. So we'll be talking a little bit about that later on, having a full review, extended edition review of this vehicle, and really just drove really well. Of course, did you like the rear view mirror? By the way, the rear view mirror on mine was electronic, and it was very clear. It made people look like they were very close. Like when you're at a stoplight, I was looking inside their cars, and I could see them talking. And
yeah, it's it takes away that feeling that in a larger vehicle that you're looking into a tunnel.
Yes,
it looks like you're right there at the back window.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty neat stuff. So that is a full show, and we will be right back after the break, and we will keep you up to date and tell you all of what's coming up on Cruise Control when we come back. So stay tuned. We will be right back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. It's your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les, the guy with all the files. Is Fred, and he has, once again, a big pile on his desk, and I apologize.
That sounds terrible.
I
big
apologize
pile on
for
his desk.
for knocking all those papers off your desk, but you can sort them out.
Yes, sounds good. Well, let's start with this Jeep Easter Safari story.
Jeep Easter Safari.
Yeah, it is a very impressive lineup. We're going to try to go through each one of these because they're very unique. And what they do basically, they get together. There's a large group of people, off-roaders that go out to Moab, Utah during Easter weekend. And Jeep has been supporting them by bringing out these concepts every year. And this is, let's see, what year is it? That was a big thing they were stating. It was one of the, I think it's been like 30 years or something like that. There's 10.
Yeah.
There's 10 of these concepts, quite a lineup of these vehicles. Plus there's some others that were at SEMA, and they actually take them out and put them on the trail. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Magneto, which is a cool-looking little Jeep Wrangler, and it is the Jeep Wrangler Magneto 2.0. This is a fully electric vehicle, custom-built axial flux electric motor. Sounds like something from Back to the Future.
Yes, yes, it does.
Operates at 5,250 RPM. It has a 6-speed manual. So a 6-speed manual with a clutch.
That's interesting.
4 lithium-ion battery packs distributed throughout the chassis for weight balance. 70 kilowatt-hour battery running an 800-volt system.
That's actually a serious motor.
So, the peak amperage in the propulsion system has more than doubled to 600 amps. Yeah. This is the 2.0 version. And it has a new electric powertrain calibration that maintains peak amperage for up to 10 seconds, which is sort of an electronic nitrous oxide.
That's right. I don't want to drive it because it looks incredibly uncomfortable.
Okay.
However, it would be impressive to be in it, on a straight line and just stand on the accelerator.
Okay. Yes, it would.
Because this thing will rip your lips off with the
It'll be interesting to
G-force.
See how it does on rock crawling. And
it'll be great.
now here's something. We're going to review the Grand Cherokee a little bit later on. But this is another concept. And of course, they have the Grand Cherokee 4xe edition of the Grand Cherokee that anyone can buy. But this is the plug-in hybrid concept of the 4xe. And it gets 25 miles of all-electric range. It's got some nice aggressive-looking wheels and tires on there. And it is kind of like a uprated version of the 4xe Grand Cherokee. It is a stout, really stout appearance with those wheels. They've done rock rails. It has the saddle-colored upholstery like your vehicle does, with Rodney Houndstooth inserts like your vehicle doesn't. And it is 20-inch painted neutral gray matte wheels with 33-inch BFG mud terrain tires with widened flares. I actually think it looks nice with those wheels.
It actually does. Normally, I don't care that much for big wheels, but it looks good.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty interesting one. Now, coming up next, this is a more traditional military-inspired Jeep. This is the 41 concept.
It basically looks like every Jeep Wrangler.
Like a modern-day...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's retro Willys, and this has the 4xe drivetrain in it. So it's the plug-in hybrid drivetrain that can go 25 miles on electricity and then has the 2-liter turbocharged engine. The concept has wheel flares, mirror caps, a drab green finish with black powder coat steel bumpers.
What does drab mean?
Means olive drab, like military, where it's just...
Well, I know, but what are the DRAB? What does that stand for?
I don't know if it was an acronym or if it just was, it meant drab.
Yeah,
it's matte
but
finish.
it is that drab army color.
Yeah, and this one sits on 35-inch mud terrain tires with 17-inch 1552 wheels painted in the drab matte finish. I love steel wheels on off-road vehicles.
I do too.
I think it looks cool. They're strong, and it just definitely gives it that military look, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it does. It looks straight out of World War II.
Yeah, certainly does. So next up is, if we can get this correct, the Jeep Bob Classic. I don't know if I have that one. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to keep these all straight. This is the Decoder. And why they call that the Decoder is because it is a rolling parts vehicle. In other words, all of those parts have a code on them, a scannable QR code, and you can buy them from Mopar. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
So you
you're
take that
building
to a show and you say, hey, I like this front bumper. You scan it with your phone and it comes up and it says, oh, would you like to purchase this?
Yeah.
Or the snorkel kit, or those doors, those tube doors, or the hauler, the little basket in the back to haul it. That's kind of cool, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's a sort of a Jeep equivalent of a motorcycle bobber.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And it's an eco diesel.
And then we have the Birdcage concept by JPP, which kind of showcases, once again, all the custom accessory innovations from Mopar and JPP this time. So it's open air, and it is the roll cage out there, and of course they've got a storage basket on top of the roll cage, and just shows off how you can accessorize it. It's pretty cool, don't you think?
It is. Again, it looks a bit more conventional, but interesting accents.
I like this one. This one has sort of a Land Rover roof on it. If you look at that, this has that little extra window up top. I think that's a cool accessory.
It does look very Land Rover-ish.
But it's nice. You get a little extra height in the back and a little more light in there. I like the color. So it's fun. It's fun what these guys do on the Safari, and it's neat that they, typically we think of concepts as something that doesn't really run that well, or if it runs at all. But these are out there actually doing rock climbing, and they're not afraid to get them a little scraped up or bent up, and they put them to use. So using vehicles, I think electric vehicles are great for off-roading.
I agree.
And I think I frankly look forward to driving the 4xe version of the Grand Cherokee. I've driven the 4xe version of the Jeep Wrangler, and you can see the review of that on our YouTube page, Cruise Control YouTube page. But it's a great vehicle. It really is. It was. Would I like to see more electric range? It's only 25 miles, sure, but eventually they'll get to that. I think they'll get more range, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So let's talk about the New York Auto Show. It is coming up next week. It is the first time it's been in New York for several years. Last year, they came right down to the last minute, and then it got canceled. A couple of reveals. One of them, a very important reveal for Kia. This is like their F-150, basically. They've got to get it right. The Kia Telluride's getting a refresh. This is basically unattainium. You can't find these.
And we already know what the Telluride is, so that picture.
That's an interior shot. That really shows a lot.
It is. We're not really showing anything.
No, there's a lot of these teaser photos floating around, but it's going to keep the same shape. It will have an updated grille, I'm sure. It'll have some updated styling cues. They're not going to mess with success, though.
No.
As James Bell from Kia has told us whenever he's on, he said, I wish I could have like 10 vehicles like the Telluride to sell, because it's just incredible. They're also going to do the newly redesigned Nero, and that is a small little crossover, not all-wheel drive, but it comes in electric, it comes in plug-in hybrid, and gas. So Kia's really, really shown off a lot of stuff, and good for them.
They are.
I think they will continue to be a big player and just get even bigger in the future, don't you? Yeah, don't you think that, Les?
For sure.
Yeah.
This is going to be a crowded show.
You think so? People pent up
Absolutely.
demand?
Pent up demand, and DC had its show in January, and the prediction was, it wouldn't have many crowds. Everybody had to prove vaccination. Biggest crowd they've ever had.
Yeah, interesting. I guess there's pent up demand there. So, this is kind of a sad bit of news, if it is true, and if it comes to be true. The Monaco F1 Monaco circuit is what was that
right
movie?
Back here?
Yeah, right back there. What was the movie that had that in it? There was a movie about it, wasn't there?
Oh, well, that was Grand Prix.
Grand Prix. Okay.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go there to see the F1 in Monaco. I always thought that would be like a super.
I went there once.
What was it like?
Incredible. Just you got to go. You got to be there.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some thought that this might go away. According to the Missed Apex podcast, there's a possibility that Monaco may not be on the F1 calendar for 2023. There's no contract with Monaco in Formula One, and there's some talk that it just might not be on the schedule. Now, of course, we talked last week about Las Vegas during the schedule, right?
Well, the problem with Monaco is that it's a city. It's downtown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very difficult track to drive.
You're going through
because
tunnels. You're going
it's
through.
yeah. It's the tunnels, the straightest road in the whole circuit.
Mm-hmm.
The turns are just these narrow 1.5 lane wide streets. It's the city loves it and hates it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can practically do it anymore.
Interesting. I'd be sad to see that go. I mean, certainly Las Vegas doesn't replace it.
No, not at all.
But it is been part of history. So, but things change, so we'll have to keep you up to date on that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on Cruise Control. We will be right back, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little tech about synthetic fuel. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les, he's Fred. We're just rolling through a ton of information this morning, and we're going to continue with even more shortly. We just talked about the Grand Prix at Monaco maybe no longer being that case. A beautiful venue, but it's a very difficult and impractical one. So we don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That's just something up for thought right now, and we'll see if it happens. So, or if it doesn't happen. Let's talk a little tech. You and I have been talking about synthetic fuel for a long time, and so have manufacturers. And I want to give you a little bit of an update. Porsche is going to start making synthetic fuel earlier than they had planned. They are leaning pretty hard into this. The brand announced a $75 million investment with HIF Global LLC, and they have a plant in Chile where they're going to be building this. They're partnering with Siemens Energy and ExxonMobil, and they will produce e-fuels from hydrogen and CO2 using wind energy for a mid-2022 release of the product. The investments now reach in the low 9-figure range. That's a pretty big range, isn't it?
Low. That's serious money.
So Porsche says its benefits to having this in the transportation segment, including gas-powered cars like their 911, to aviation and shipping sectors. And a lot of people are interested in this. Could it be a way to drive your classic car in the future? I have a feeling here's one scenario. In the future, they'll say, okay, you can keep your older gas car, but you have to use e-fuel. But e-fuel is $15 a gallon. So that would force you to get into an electric vehicle, wouldn't it? Unless you had a classic car and you say, hey, I only drive this to shows or whatever, so I'll do that. You know, I'll trailer it there and with my electric F-150.
That's right, but that's, half the fun of having a classic car is actually driving it.
What do you think? What do you think about they've been talking about this since World War II, right? Growing fuel from algae and all kinds of stuff.
That's right. I mean, hydrocarbon is hydrocarbon. Actually, I think the first thing that'll happen in the near future for classic cars with air quality rules in certain states, I think you'll have to put a catalytic converter on it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's not the worst thing in the world because cars
No.
without them smell pretty bad, you know?
yeah. The other thing, of course, is that you could run E85 pure ethanol, which, by the way, pure ethanol is 115 octane.
Wow. Okay.
But the problem is you have to modify engines where the ethanol won't damage the engine.
Yeah, and it can be rough on hoses and all kinds of things like that, right?
Yeah, you need to do some re-engineering.
Yeah. There will be options. I still think hydrogen
there
is
will.
an option
Sure.
too, you know.
Sure.
But let's look at another company that's working on synthetic fuel, and that is Hyundai. Of course, Hyundai is investing in fuel cells, but they're also working with Saudi Aramco and the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and they're developing an ultra lean burning e-fuel that produces low emissions. And that could be another potential source of this e-fuel. I mean, why couldn't you engineer fuel to just have all the good stuff and nothing but none of the bad stuff?
Well, you can, but the chemistry costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think pure hydrogen is the best overall way to go.
Interesting. All right. So we'll keep you up to date on these things because we find them pretty interesting. And also, if you have an internal combustion vehicle, and you know, I think it's an interesting idea for aviation because you know, they talk about electric planes and that, but that's seems to be a little bit more in the future than electric cars.
Yeah, I think electric planes are way into the future.
Yeah. So clean fuel for aviation might be really the big market for it, and then collector cars too. It'll be like the old days, running a car on avgas, you know. I just hope somebody has, you know, like a perfume that smells like racing gas, because I like that smell. We'll have to see, you know, something that doesn't pollute but just has all the good smell of it. So. Hey, you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's time now. Les, are you ready? You know you're ready.
I'm ready.
As the Tesla turns. Yeah.
I need to get, you know, like a black coat and you know, a funeral director's hat.
Well, Elon Musk was wearing a hat this week. He was wearing
That's true.
a cowboy hat, a black cowboy hat, and aviator sunglasses. And it was the reveal. They are celebrating the opening of the Austin, Texas plant. They rolled out some of the vehicles that they've already produced. And they rolled out the current look of the Cybertruck, which seems to be developing a little bit more. Seems like it's gaining more of a face.
You think?
I'm trying to be kind here.
I don't want to be kind. The thing is just gross, stupid, ugly.
It's pretty ugly. It is pretty ugly.
Yeah. And Elon, you need to mosey on back to the bunkhouse and put on some city duds.
Well,
just my opinion.
he also claimed that they would be beginning the production of the Cybertruck, the Roadster, and the semi-truck in 2023. You ready? You think that will all happen?
Okay. So,
and since he's going to start building all them, he's talking about building a robo-taxi as well.
Why not?
Full self-driving, of course. So
Yeah. Well, again, they're not autonomous. I'm sorry. That's hype. It's not true.
yeah. So that was the hoopla at the Cyber Rodeo. And then there's more as the Tesla turns. Can I? Okay, this is just more of a standard story, but it's unfortunately a very standard story. Tesla increases the Model 3 prices yet again. Didn't we just have a price increase?
Like a month ago.
Okay. I thought I was wrong about that, but apparently this is a different price increase. Rear-wheel drive now costs the rear-wheel drive Model 3 costs $46,990. Now that was not affected by this price increase, but last month the Model 3 long-range price was increased by $2,500, while the performance price went up by $3,000. This week the long-range price was increased by $1,500, while the performance went up $1,000. We're getting monthly price increases, Les Jackson.
Well, this is like monthly. Just tack on another
$1,000.
Another. What's a grand?
He's doing his best imitation of a market value dealer.
He is.
So why not just have it like you buy it, and then like a month after you buy it, say, well, the price went up. Even though you bought it, we're just going to charge you $1,000. How would that be?
Yeah. Or, just don't even put a price on it.
Yeah.
Just call and we'll tell you what today's market price is. So just think of buying an expensive lobster.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's like. Market price. They don't say, we can give you a price on the chicken. We can't give you a price on the lobster. So there you have it. Prices going up per month, sometimes multiple thousands. Hey, it's just part of it. And then let's do one final. Okay, just one more time. Elon Musk now is the biggest shareholder in Twitter. He's got a 9.2% stake in Twitter. And, of course, Twitter has got him into trouble in the past, his tweets, with the SEC, right? Like, didn't he say he was going to take the company private at one point?
He did, yeah.
And apparently there's all kinds of regulations involved with that. So
you have to, yes.
He polled his more than 80 million followers on Twitter and asked whether he should buy this. And 70%, he asked if they were allowing free speech. 70% said no, and he asked whether a new platform was needed or should he buy Twitter. So it looks like he is the biggest shareholder in Twitter. Who knows? Will he buy the rest of it or more of it? Maybe.
Well, not necessarily. You can't. There are rules. You can't.
Hostile
it's
takeover.
Like a communications company.
Hostile takeover. Can't they?
Yeah. Well, also you're controlling media outlet, and
I don't know.
There's
We'll have to see what happens with that. But that's our As the Tesla Turns segment. I think, Les, it's time for us to jump into our At the Wheel review.
Yes, indeed.
Of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Of course, the Grand Cherokee got a complete got a complete renewal. It's brand new for 2022. They started off with the L on the new model, which the L is what we both tested. The L is the 3-row version of the Grand Cherokee, and it is about 11.4 inches longer. And of course, there's a third row seat where you can sit two people in the back. The thing of it is completely a Jeep. It is certainly in no way, shape, or form a reduced capability vehicle. And ours was the highest level of trim you can get. I mean, like, if you're going to do it, why not do it, right? Of course, they come in Laredo,
Right.
Limited, Overland, and Summit. These are kind of the same trim levels that we've seen in Grand Cherokees from the past. What's interesting about Grand Cherokee, Les, when they do studies and they poll the owners, they like the size of the Grand Cherokee because previous to the L, it's been a little bit smaller than other crossovers, and people like that. They kind of like it being a little bit more agile, a little bit more nimble, a little bit more trail capable. But with the L, Jeep thought, well, we have to play in this three-row playing field because we don't want people leaving and going to another brand. So that's what they've done with the L. And we both had the Summit Reserve model, which is quite beautiful. I mean, mine was a two-tone black with the red and separated by a piece of chrome, which I thought was quite a nice-looking vehicle. Out back, it looks pretty traditional Grand Cherokee's. Got the exhaust through the rear fascia. Of course, up front, it's got the grille that everyone recognizes. That makes it a Jeep. And, not hard to identify as a Grand Cherokee, is it?
Not at all. It carries all of the family resemblances. Again, you already touched on the interior. Mine is quite striking. It's a white exterior with the saddle color is called Tupelo.
Tupelo, Mississippi,
which I think
the
means
home of Elvis.
Tupelo honey.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bronzy kind of color.
Okay.
It's gorgeous inside.
I found this interior to be amazing. I found it to be one of the best interiors. There's piano black. There's stitching everywhere. Did you have that kind of crosshatch stitching on your seats?
I have the crosshatch stitching. It really shows up in the Tupelo color because unlike black, you see all the shadow lines and details.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get in, you go, and I had a couple of passengers, and they went, when you get in, they go, wow.
Now, the back seats were just as luxurious, of course, the Macintosh stereo. I found some of the materials, like on the center console and that, got into just textured hard plastic. And just like a house, the further up you go, up the stairs you go, you get a little bit lower end quality materials. They were still very nice materials, though. Piano black, of course, on the back console. And the seats, I found this pretty easy to use. They tilt forward. They fold flat with a pull of a lever. And pretty decent room in the third row.
Very much, yeah.
It's not a place that normally people sit, but you got seat controls, and then the seat itself will slide and tilt forward and allow pretty easy access for even adults to sit in the back seat, and then you just rock that seat back on its track, and you're ready to go. Comfortable seats out back. A lot of controls in the rear seat for heated seats and a couple of zones of temperature. You got, of course, the 115-volt AC outlet and USB-C and regular USB outlets, which is pretty good. Very, very good trim-looking vehicle. Were you impressed with the overall look of it?
The overall look, I have to say, is they've done a spectacular job on it. It's clear they really thought this thing out, and everything outside and inside is you just sort of don't even have to look at it. You put your hand out, and that's where the control is going to be. The rear tailgate. Well, there is no front tailgate. The rear tailgate is handless. Is that a word?
Handless, hands-free.
Hands-free.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. Hands-free, not handless.
Yeah, and that's of course handy. A lot of vehicles have that these days. You got stuff in your hands, and you don't want to have to put something down. Especially in the rain this week. Every time I was in it, it was heavy rain.
Well, it has incredible fording capability. I believe 24 inches of fording
That's
capability.
True.
So, you didn't have to worry really.
Well, also it has blind spot and cross path detection, and parallel and perpendicular park assist with stop.
Okay.
So even in heavy rain with limited visibility, it knows, what it needs to do.
Do you use the parking help? I never use the parking help because
it's fun. I like to use it.
Yeah. But I do like the rear traffic assist because when I'm there's a certain grocery store parking lot, and when I back out, I can't see anything. What you think of the rear view mirror? Electronic rear view mirror, and it makes things look closer. The vehicles look very close to me in the back. I could see into their cars. I was like, well, look at what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like sitting in the back seat looking out the back window that we did as a kid.
Yeah.
Nice and clear. I think every vehicle should have that.
Yeah. Another interesting thing was, I believe this is the first time the Macintosh brand has been involved with an automotive company. And, of course, Macintosh is kind of a unique audiophile brand. They sell tube amplifiers for audiophiles. They have vacuum, record players that suck the record down, to make it play better. So interesting to see them involved with Jeep, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I think you had the same sound system, the 950 watt amplifier.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be 1,000, but I had a deal with 950.
19 speakers.
Now, what engine did you have? Did you have?
It's 3.6 liter V6.
That's what I had. 290 horsepower. Seemed to do a pretty good job of moving it down the highway.
Very responsive. 8-speed automatic. I will say, you don't feel the shifts.
No, I agree. That it was great on the road. There was no shiftiness. There was no hesitation. By the way, my color is called Velvet Red Pearl. Velvet Red Pearl.
Nice name.
Yeah, and I like that metallic red in vehicles. I always thought it was good. Let me run down my numbers here and see if they agree with yours. Okay, so Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve 4x4. I don't even know if you can get it in a 4x2, but maybe you can. I don't know.
Maybe.
So base price $59,660. I had the Velvet Red Clear Coat $395. Summit Reserve Group $3,000, which includes 21-inch wheels, leather seats, 19-speaker high-performance audio. It's a bit of a deal for $3,000. Deluxe headliner, ventilated rear seats, the 950-watt amplifier. That all comes in for $3,000. That is worth it, man. That is good thing.
It is worth it. There's a lot, that comes with that, and all the door trim and of course the different size wheels and tires. The standard equipment includes all of the goodies, including a seat massager.
Oh yeah, that's always good.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Now, mine also had the Advanced ProTech Group 4.
Same here.
Head-up display, night vision, rear view auto-dimming display mirror, interior rear-facing camera. Luxury Tech Group 5, including wireless charging pad and manual second row window shades.
Yeah, I had the identical stuff. This is amazing that we have identically equipped
And then
Cherokees.
destination was a beefy $1,795.
Yeah,
It's a big
that's
vehicle.
a lot.
It's a big vehicle. You get a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty, the 3-year, 36,000 basic warranty. So that gives you some of the coverages. So the total price on mine was $67,090.
Mine is $66,695.
Wow, you got a deal. So it's an incredible vehicle. Now, the mileage is not that great.
No.
25 highway, 18 city, combined 21.
Yep.
I think
Nope.
when you get to this new engine, Hurricane, which is going to be revealed at the New York Auto Show, it's going to replace the Hemi. It's going to come in 400 and 500. I bet it even does better than this 290.
It should. Now, I'm getting on average. There's an indicator on the dash. I'm averaging 18.7.
It's kind of rocking it old school when it comes to
Yeah,
fuel economy, isn't it?
Not great. Certainly for something that big and luxurious, isn't bad.
But
And I know on a highway.
think of the range of the Grand Cherokee. You can get a base model with the V6. You can get the plug-in hybrid model, which is really interesting, all the way up to the L and the Summit Reserve. It's quite a range. Very important for Jeep to do well with this vehicle. That was clear. That's like their F-150 basically, or maybe the Wranglers like their F-150. I don't know, but it's an important vehicle in their lineup. I think they've done a great job of redesigning it and putting virtually everything in it. One of the best interiors I've ever seen. And final assembly point, by the way, a lot of people like to ask about that. Detroit, Michigan, USA. Engine USA, transmission USA. It's a pretty American vehicle, isn't it?
It is. It is. Only 22% is made out of the country.
Yeah.
Parts.
Yeah.
Mexico, so on.
Yeah. Now, I have its even bigger relative coming up pretty soon, the Wagoneer. I believe that's 25 feet longer than the Grand.
Yeah, I drove the Wagoneer briefly at the Wapa Rally in the fall. It's a magnificent thing. It's big.
Pretty incredible that the Jeep brand is playing in this field. Now, I don't think the price is that bad for what you get. $67,090. Yours was $66,000. It's a lot of money, but not in today's world. But I'm sure dealers probably are adding some markup to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We didn't get to this story, and we'll save it for next show. But in Arizona, they're actually taking on dealers that one person went in, they had a car advertised. They said, I'll buy that one for that price. That looks good. It was on their website. And they told them, no, you have to get paint protection. You have to get, interior protection, and that's $2,000 more. And he said, well, I don't want that. I just want the car you have on your, website there. And there it is. It's sitting there. So it's a real car. So I want to buy that. They said, nope, we won't sell it to you without those add-ons.
That's bait and switch.
Went to the state of Arizona. They are being fined. 2 dealers in Arizona being fined because of it. So people are fighting back against unfair practices. And frankly, I don't want that crap on my brand new vehicle.
No.
I don't want someone
It doesn't
messing.
do anything.
I could see some guy with a dirty rag, with metal particles on it. Like, oh yeah, I'll put that protectant on. I just don't want them doing that stuff. I just don't think it adds any value. But we'll have more about that story on a future edition of Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Also, look at our YouTube page because we've got a lot going on there and always content popping up. You can get everything there. Audio podcasts, clips of the shows, car reviews, interviews. There's a lot of stuff. You can spend a lot of time there. So, hey, we appreciate you listening to the show, and appreciate you listening to the stream this week. It's time for me to say, I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information.